So, I don't need to introduce Gareth, but formally, thank you very much, Gareth, for presenting at this year's iMoot 2014. Gareth has been part of the iMoot team this year, um, and really instrumental behind the scenes, getting things sorted, helping us fixing bugs with the team, improving stuff. Just mute somebody, we've got a little bit of feedback. So, as I think this is probably the only time that I'm introducing Gareth over the moot, I just want to say a really big thank you from personally from me. Thank you very much, Gareth, for all your hard work over this year's iMoot, and it's great to have you on the team. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the iMoot, and I hope you enjoy this session. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Vinny. Welcome all. This is my own Moodle. So, as you see in the graphics, you can see it's sort of Moodle within a Moodle, or a way of running your own Moodle on your own device, so you can try it out, so you can test things. Okay, what we're going to do today is cover this in the agenda. So I'm going to go through, as you can see there, trademarks, a bit of introduction, why, a bit of a fear, overcoming fear, things you want to check when you're installing, before you even install a Moodle, yeah, different types of installation that you can have. Then I'll go through the choices that there are others, but I've sort of narrowed it down to a few there with a range of different options, so you can pick and choose the one you want. Now I'll summarise things up, talk about some help, and also cover a little bit of technical detail. Now, please don't be worried if this scares the out of you. Not designed to. Hopefully, that all comes in the back of the fear section, and we'll go any feedback, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have about Moodle or running your own Moodle. Okay, first, boring bit first of all, or not boring bit, a necessary bit. In order to produce the guides, I did need to get some of the trademark permissions. So you'll notice in the guides, the bit normally one is end one. I contacted them because I was taking screenshots on their websites and their installation software. So really important, and Firefox, Windows, and so forth. So I mean there, and also there's mentions of Oracle. So I've had put that little line there at the bottom, saying that I am independent. I'm not talking for Moodle, I'm not talking for Bitnami. I'm just talking for myself and describing these products as is. So, what are we trying to try? Well, you're an educator, you're a developer. If you want to install in it and try out the latest features, then it can be difficult. Or maybe you want to try a new computer plugin, or you don't want to take the risk. It's tricky. Moodle is difficult to install. It can be quite scary in places, and I'll cover in a second why that is. Little note at the bottom, you can see that's me. I'm sure most of you know, some do, some don't. That's what I do, and there's sort of contact details you see at the bottom of the slide. Okay, why? You want to learn something. People use Moodle because they want to learn. You want to maybe install your own Moodle so you can learn something about it. You can discover, you can take it and try things out. Perhaps you want to experiment with it. You want to try a new piece of functionality, a new piece of skills, something maybe you've learned at iMoot that you want to try out and think, I'd love to do that, but hang on a second. I don't really want to try this on a live system. I don't want to try this on my school, my corporate, in case I break it. Maybe you're interested in getting into development. Obviously, people saw Tim's excellent presentation earlier. Maybe you want to try out about installing it so you could start developing. Well, you're going to need to run your own local Moodle to do that without and eliminate risk and fear of doing that. So, big thing I found. Certainly teaching when I was teaching students is the fear. The big looming mobile, you're scared, you're running. That little graphic there is my trying to impart my attempt at doing the scream, you know, going, "Oh, it's so big, it's so unwieldy, it's so, oh." And the reason is Moodle is not commercial off-the-shelf software. You just can't download it, buy it, run through an installation thing and go, boom. It's just not a single piece of software. In fact, it is a combination of web server. It's a database. It uses PHP, which is hypertext preprocessor backwards. And then that all bundled together into a WAMP, LAMP, and a MAMP. Now, WAMP is Windows, Apache, MySQL, PHP. LAMP, Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP. MAMP, Mac OS or Mac, Apache, PHP. But that is just a foundation building block. Then Moodle runs on top of that. It's not plug and play. You just can't simply ching, 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 ching. And there's a reason for that because of the way it's structured. It's a server program. It's something that loads and loads and loads of people can potentially connect to. Not that you're running standalone on your machine, even though that's what the purpose of this is. But in the real world, you're not going to just say, have a word processor and only one person use that and you download and install it. Moodle, you download it and install it on your own machine, you're using it, but it can scale up. You can get other people to connect to it. You can take that whole installation and build a whole organization. Tim's running the Open University on it, Baz developing from it. I'm sure you guys are running your own Moodle with hundreds of people connecting to it. So, did some of you, thank you very much, did something in the forums and look at the fear itself. So I'm just going to switch to that slide. So, what was your fear? Yeah. So, what I call techno-fear. I certainly saw it in my students when I was teaching, and even adults and staff, anybody who were really very, very, now what they were, had no responses of breaking the computer. But sometimes a lot of people, I noticed I got a haircut. I was talking to the hairdresser yesterday, and his greatest fear was even, turning it on. What does this button do? He had gone even that step. And it's not a case of, they can't do it. It's the case of just not knowing. And so a lot of things with Moodle breaking the software. Am I going to break it? Again, you're using it with your school system. You're going to worry about breaking it, having problems. Introducing virus with nothing. I found that interesting, but it's still possible. Very high score on opening the door to a hacker. I think that's something we'll have to be careful with the guys and running it locally. There is a little caveat because you can take it one step where it all runs just locally, absolutely fine. I think called a local host, nobody can get to it unless nobody can get to it because it uses a special form of the internet on the internet. But there's one step where people can get access. So just sort of take an advisement. Being overwhelmed by terminology, yeah, frankly, you mentioned, you learn a new acronyms. Computing is full of acronyms. There's so many, even Moodle is an acronym. COTS is an acronym. WAMP, blah, 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 blah. Learning, blah, 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 can be overwhelming. Key is to just gradually learn each one and get a little different pieces of the puzzle. Asking if that wasn't, but asking for help and not understanding the answer. I think I remember explaining things to a history teacher, and she was still not understanding. I knew I just had to change it. And Barnard, big one. The gap between the knowledge of the developer and the knowledge of somebody who's not used to it, and they feel embarrassed. The thing is for the developers and to explain it in such a way that you don't feel embarrassed. You'll show us something to do, and it will take 30 seconds, but sometimes we'll show us something and I'll say, that's going to take 4 days. And you think, well, it's just a small little box with a few little things. How can it take so long? But that's just the way it is with the way that it's developed and put together. So, Another question we asked was installing Movie itself. How many people? Hopefully that should appear for you. Yeah. And I was quite surprised, actually pleasantly surprised, that quite a few people, 5 had tried the standalone package, which was easy. And then some others were trying and actually install the WAMP, which is much harder to install, and 2 people hadn't. So in those 2, I hope these guides help, and it. And I hope that you get some understanding extra from who've tried standalone package to maybe move on to WAMP, and people who use the WAMP can maybe extend it a little bit further. Okay, going back to the presentation. I'll just find the right slide so we're at there. Yes, yeah, well, hopefully the guides will help you maybe to try the standalone as well. And there's differences on stuff like that in a second. So yeah, it isn't plug and play, it is difficult, but that's what we're here. So to overcome that fear, you're thinking, oh, what does this button do? You press it, boom, all goes away. Oh, we're gonna die, something's not gonna happen. And the key thing with technology in general is to be calm, to take it step by step. When I try new things out, I mean, all my greatest fears and my idea at the moment is learning JavaScript using UI. I'm okay with jQuery, even though that's a JavaScript library, but I have fears as well. I have worries of, I'm not quite sure about how this works, or I'm going to have to spend some time learning this, even though I've been developing since I was, 11, 12, 13 sort of thing, been using computers for ages. So you need to take it step by step, take it gently, allocate yourself some time, try out the guides. They're designed to take it little bit by little bit by little bit. Start slow, gain confidence. Don't worry if you make mistakes. Don't worry if something goes completely wrong. That's what these guides are here to run and do on your own computer. Remember, you can always uninstall it, start from scratch, delete the software completely. All you've lost is time. Don't let the jargon put you off. Start making notes, make little notes. Yeah. And another few simple facts will help you go a long way. And that's what I'll cover a little bit later on. So, and you get these little corners that, I know what that is. I know what that is. I've often a kit in programming and development and computing to climbing a mountain. You know you want to climb it. It's a long way up, and you've just got to take it step by step. And sometimes you can't see the wood for the trees, you can't see the snow line or anything, but you just have to keep persevering with it. And at each step, you learn something new. With point 6, understanding the other side. Now this applies to both educators and developers. So as both an educator and a developer, I find that if I start to understand the educator's point of view, that makes me a better developer. I am able to come instead of meeting them, say there, and they have to come down to me in terms of the depth that I'm at. I'd rather try and go back up and meet them a bit more halfway, so they don't have to come so far, because you never realise how what may be second nature to you is actually to someone else incredibly difficult. So empathise with them. Previous jobs, I know I had to. The hardest thing was not doing what I was doing, but was to understand what the customer wanted. So developers need to do that, but you as educators as well. Don't start getting, the developer goes into, what appears to be gobbledygook mode with you. Don't worry, persevere with it. Don't go, and you get that plain white sheet of fear, like you've seen a ghost image. Don't worry, calm down. Just listen and try and meet them halfway. Okay, now the sort of the nitty gritty. Now, when you want to install it, you need to check before with the guides, because they will change over time. I wrote the guides a month ago. We'll keep an eye on that. I wrote the guide things with computing, incredibly frustrating, changes all the time. When I left the university, the World Wide Web hadn't been even invented, so it changes the whole time. Oh no, there's this new school, blah 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 blah. So check the releases, look at the major version of it, look at the minimum version of PHP, and you'll be able to compare the two. You'll be able to compare the PHP version, and it will become transparent when you sort of see it. Look how much space you've got on your hard disk. You are going to need 30 megabyte, or no, but actually more than that. A reasonable chunk of hard disk space in memory to run it, or look at the space requirements it will say. Then if you're already running something on port 80, now port 80 I will come on to, very technical, but because it's a web server, when your browser connects to it, it connects over a thing called TCP and uses a thing called a port. The easiest thing to do that, go into your web browser, type localhost. All browsers can do that. If it comes up blank there, can't find it, then you know nothing's running on there. If something pops up, then you've got another piece of software running which is using it. I will have to pick another port, and another one is called 8080. Then, if you're running Windows, Mac or Linux, have a look at the installation guide there. Oh, thanks, Tim. Didn't know Skype did that. I don't have Skype installed. So, I mean, yeah, that's coming. So, but once one program has got that port and is using it, unless you actually quit it, remove it, I mean, sometimes actually switch it off completely, it hogs that port. One program, thank you, yeah, but you don't use Skype, it's fine. But you can use another one, 8080. So you've got a choice. Do you want to go for an all-in package or WAMP only? And that, hopefully, you'll be able to tell. So, if you use a WAMP, then you've got an option of using a download Moodle separately as or use a thing called a git install. A little bit more complicated. There's pros and cons of each different type of one for very different reasons. If you're a complete starter, we'll go for the all-in-one and then move on to the WAMP, and certainly if you're a developer, then so forth. There is, I found, Moodle, there's some basic instructions. There's not, they're written like they're really reasonably well written, but I found they weren't taking again to the educator to the very, very step-by-step basics, which is what hopefully I've got for you in the guide. Okay, so a bit more on the types. All-in-one comes with everything you need. So it comes with Moodle, all the software there, the Apache bit, which is the web server, the bit that's going to send out your pages. MySQL, which is the database, which some people have talked about, which it stores how the page is structured, not the files, just how the page is structured and the information to help it do it. So when you enter your name, when you put settings on a courses, when you say, oh, this course has got 15 sections, that's where it goes. PHP is like the glue between them, between Moodle and the web server and the database. It's like English. It's like another language. It's a way, it's a thing that processes it, that does it, that makes it happen, for want of a better word. It's instructions. So it's like if you've got a cookie book, it's a set of instructions that tell you how to make that recipe, how to make that pie, how to make that cake, even though the cookie book's one thing, the ingredients is another one, the other oven is another one, that sort of thing. Okay. The one you can update to the new one, but you are really fixable when it comes with it, but it is time-consuming tricky. With WAMP, you have a little bit more power, but it's a little trickier. So you can pick the exact Moodle installation you want, more features, you can run more than one, you can then take that and just start developing your own websites and various bits and bobs. Finally, with the advanced people, you can do a git install. So if you watch Tim's thing and other people and you want to start learning, developing, or you want to run your Moodle installation so that your organization, that using reading Git from administration is brilliant. So instead of when it says, oh no, you want an update and you have to do all 5 of those, you literally do a git pull command and it will and you can swap over and it'll update all the little files for you, and brilliant, really, really easy, straightforward, does a lot of the hard hassle in the background. Thank you, Tim. Yeah, really useful. So, oh yeah, it does. It is a fancy way to go advance, but it's doing it in one easy little bit, and really helps. So, all in the options available to us. So, with the all-in-one Moodle packages, it comes with a thing called XAMPP. So that's the WAMP bit, that's the Apache, that's the MySQL PHP bit. And it's really easy to install. I think I've only used about 12 pages in the guide, and one of the guide is 29 pages. Don't be put off there. I've made that deliberately so loads and loads of screenshots. You'll be able to see that later when you download them. So it's step by step by step. You are restricted to Moodle version, so I think it's excuse me. You can see from the screenshot it says Moodle 262 there. That's obviously moved on now, but go to the download page. It's download.moodle.org /. You can see there's standard Moodle packages. So if you want to go back and try another one, then slightly trickier. But it is from the source, it is from the people, it is from Moodle HQ. Another one I found, a gentleman called Matt Berry, I recommended this to me, ages before Christmas. A bit gnarly. This is where the sort of trademarks come in. Another all-in-one package. I found it very easy to install, more familiar to you perhaps when you're installing other software. It's available for Windows, Mac OS X, and Linux. Sorry. It is restricted to Moodle version, but upgrade is possible. I found it really easy. You can install it. You can run it on a virtual machine, cloud, or you can see the options there. I've just provided the installer and go to it, but very easy. Does most of it, asks you all the right questions at all the right points, step by step by step. Easy PHP. Now this is one of the where you install Moodle separately. So the advantage here is that you can pick and choose your own Moodle. Now conceptually, if possible, you could go back and download a version of Moodle 1.0 or 1.8 or 9 and try that out and wonder and see how much things have progressed. So it is Windows only. It's got a sort of taskbar based GUI. So you click on the little icon at the bottom, and this comes up and comes through there. Look at the guide. There's a lot more screenshots in there. This is just overview. I found it a little bit fiddly in places, but I think it's all what you find is right for you. What's right for me may not be right for you. All about choice. Give it a try. Another one, very similar, WAMP server, exactly the same thing, different sort of, slightly different group. Again, runs from the command line, the taskbar at the bottom. Some of these I found with certain machines it would work really well, and some machines or one computer worked really well, and another not so well. The same with the PHP. It's almost try it out. If not working, don't worry, just uninstall it, try another package, and so forth. Okay. Zen Server. Now, this is available for Windows, Linux, even IBM if you have, which I doubt I have, but that was a shot, but it was brilliant. Again, you choose the version of Moodle. It's a web-based GUI, so no longer command line, so you can set it up rightly and access it from anywhere that you want. So, very powerful. One of the ones that I found that you can use in production. They do offer it, and as you see there, that's the free version. They offer more of like Moodle, where you have there's the free software, and then if you wish, you can then go and buy services, which is sort of fair enough. It's actually what I used to develop on. There's one version you say, oh no, I want to be developer thingy, I want to be used in production level. I've never run it in terms of other people connecting to it in a production environment where lots of people connecting to it. Very powerful, very interesting theory in terms of there's a lot there. Can sometimes get a little bit tricky to find a few things, but again, good. I think almost if you're starting off development work or you're considering evaluating something maybe that you want to run a Moodle on for your organization. So something for them to try out and then entirely up to you if you want to buy a service or something. As I say, I'm not representing them. Yeah, really powerful. I can't remember that. Yeah, they say they're the PHP company. I believe not they invented it, but they've certainly been a big player in for quite some time. Okay, summary in terms of the packages. I found easiest for you are Bitnami and the standard Moodle packages. So if you really are complete, never done anything like this before, try those out first of all. Then gain a bit more confidence, understand about installing it, playing around with it, trying things out. Go for the others as well in that sort of order, with the exe PHP and WAMP server maybe the same one, and then being last. But very sort of, when you consider using Git, or you want to start running your own one, or you want to try maybe running Moodle on a netbook and trying that out in the field and having your students connect to it that way. Okay. Sorry, one slide, I'll go back. So the guides themselves you will find on the course, and I'll go to it. And I'll just show you the screenshots. You'll find them all. That would change for you. Yeah, you see there's the Bitnami guide, the PHP guide, all the guides there. And I would appreciate feedback at some point. And there's badges and the certificates and stuff like that to download to get. Okay, coming back to the presentation. Go back to okay. I'm not going to show you an installation because, quite frankly, it's boring. It's step by step by step. You know that you click a button, blah blah blah, go away, make yourself a cup of tea, relax, come back, that sort of thing. Once you've got it, you've just installed Moodle. That's all you've done. There's nothing fancy, nothing special. You're on a bit of it, but you've done it for a purpose. So then you've got it. What to learn next? You can learn new features. The whole point is, maybe your school's running Moodle 1.9, and you want to say, look, you really want to convince your management we must be using Moodle 2.6, 2.7, and there's no way of doing it. Maybe you want to give a presentation. So install it, try it out, learn it, understand. Yeah, text thank you, is a good one. That's how most people work. But you want to convince someone to use it. You want to try out new things. You want to have your own sandpit to learn, so you're not worried about breaking something. Yeah, maybe you want to try out some of Baz's responsive themes. See how they work. Try them out. I've shown you a little step of how you can actually set it up, so you can go and get your mobile device, tablet, and still connect it to your computer running Moodle and try that out and try that user interface. Excellent presentation yesterday or Thursday on accessibility. Maybe you want to try that out and using that. Maybe there's a contribute plugin you want to try. I'm not sure about that. Will it break my system? Put your own Moodle on there. Install the contribute plugin. Anything goes wrong, doesn't matter. You just got a bit of time. You learned a thing. You can ditch the old Moodle and try again. Yeah. You could run your own field system. So take your netbook out, get your students out, back up your course in your main Moodle, restore it to your netbook, and run it there. Also, emergency backup system. Maybe you want to run your own Moodle in case something else goes wrong. You're teaching in the classroom, get the students, main Moodle goes down, for whatever reason, you're stuck. Have a backup plan. got it there, get them to connect, tell them a few simple, straightforward details, job done. Where to find help? So, installation help, there's an installation form, there's a favorite, or maybe for if you're using the Git install rather than, and if you want to get into developing, some really good developers out there that will help you on the developers forum. The installation, and if you're feeling really adventurous, there's the Apache documentation. That's more of a reference that you'll see the guide, that because Apache operates by having a smaller set of instructions that configure it, that tell it this is how I want you to operate. Okay, so there's a little bit of fear. So this is overcoming fear. A little diagram knocked up. So imagine yourself, you are the person on the desert island on a beach, you're sitting there in the sun, having a little drink, having a little bit of relax, and you want to visit the web. Yeah. So this is what actually happens when you're accessing Moodle, when you're accessing the big blue button, when you're accessing iMoot, any single web page at all. Yeah, you sat there on your desert island, got a laptop, type in the web address, it sends a request, the URL that you type in, to say, get this page. And it goes to the machine, which has an internet protocol address. So you type in iMoot, there's a thing called DNS, which is Domain Name Service, which will translate your URL into an address of, indeed it is Aristotle, which turns it into an address of the machine. So imagine, the property you're living in the minute will have an address, even though you might have a name. So if you're in like 90 any street, then maybe you've given the house a name. So that would be the URL bit. So that translates into that, and maybe you have a postcode or a zip code, that sort of thing that identifies that unique location. So request comes in on port 80. Now, because it has to be dedicated to only doing that one thing in that one program, it comes on. There are loads, and there's up to 65536 different ports that you can have. Some on the reserve, and some are sort of special, which you can't access. So request comes in, eventually gets to the machine, gets to your web server, PHP, blah, 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 database, does its bit, forms it all out, works it all out on the machine, and sends it back to you as a response. Does that relatively, does an awful lot behind the scenes, but does it, and you get it back, and that's how you get your web page. So imagine that your ports are like little docks on your computer. That you've got a port, so you've got a port dock, blah, 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 and you've got a massive area where loads and loads of ships can come and go, yeah, but only one ship can go to the port at any one time. So they end up in like a little queue going into the waiting. So this request response system has to be very quick indeed. Now, something else, another program using port 80, it's been allocated by an organization called INA, I think, off the top of my head. And they said, if port 80 is being used by one web serving program, then use port 8080. Yeah. Some people might have heard of FTP, file transfer program, how you upload before the World Wide Web existed, not the internet, but the World Wide Web. And you uploaded your files, you transfer things there and back. That would have been on port 21. So information came on back and forth on that. Now, as quite mentioned, good old OSI levels. You'll notice there's only 5. This is the compressed version. So, you're sitting at home, you've got your laptop, maybe you've got your wireless router. Okay, so HTTP is a protocol. It's a way of talking how English is technically a protocol. French is a protocol. There's different dialects. So Australian, American, that sort of thing. So HTTP, FTP, they're at one level. DHCP, so you've got your laptop, you connect into your thingy, it gives you an IP address. And this responsible, that's all it does. And underneath that, you've got TCP, so it's a very robust way of communication. UDP, or User Data Gathering Protocol, is like, or just a broadcast. You're not sure if it's going to get there, it's going to come back from. It's not so reliable as TCP, but it's just like, it's more like you've got chat. It's literally with this, with voice. Humans, we can understand things and can piece together, even though there's bits missing. Then underneath that, you've got the Internet Protocol, which is what your IP address is. And then there's some complicated bits underneath called the Aggressor Resolution Protocol, which is linked. Then you've got the physical. So you've got a little wire there, and you've got a little sort of antenna. So imagine when you're on your desert island, it's having to do all this. So your request starts at the top of that little stack, goes all the way down to the bottom line. It either goes off the wire or gets broadcast on your aerial, goes all the way to the other end, and filters all the way back up to the top, but to the application level, and that's where Moodle and your web server is running. It gets processed when the response goes all the way back down again. So this little thing of, like it says in the guide, port 80, port 8080, hopefully will make a little bit more sense to you, that it's not so much gobbledygook. So imagine that's where when I type in the URL and I type in stuff into my web page, that's where it's going. When I get something back, that's where it's coming back from. Okay, little intro there with LampStack. I'm very happy to take any questions passed over the mic. Anything you'd like to ask, please, there's a feedback form and stuff, and there's a little certificate which I hope works on everyone. I really haven't got anything that you want me to explain. Oh, good question, David. It's more. Thanks, Jack. Thank you, Ricky. Yeah. It's personal preference. For me, it is a more complicated interface, but I found it very powerful. So I've run Moodle 1.9, 2.4, 2.5, 2.6, 2.7, and a few others as well. So that helps, but I found it the most, for me, the most stable, and so forth, and provides lots of stuff. But as I said, it is probably the most complicated of them all to set up. But hopefully the guide still there. I will have had to put in the guide, it comes with no warranty. So please, use the guides at your own risk. That's what it's there. It is just there to help. But that's only, I would say that is only a personal preference. I had a smashing chat with them, and also a smashing chat with the people who did Bitnami, and they're great. And I found theirs was a very good product, and certainly PHP and WAMP another and different perspective if you want just something a bit more clean and simple. Thanks, Frank. Yes, I do. I run several databases all locally. I can run, loads all at the same time and side by side. And one browser doing one Moodle version, another browser doing another version. I've got a small iPod Touch thing, connect on that. Yeah, I even run it on my netbook just to get different browsers and testing and that sort of thing. Yes. A Bitnami. It's Bitnami stuff. I think it's a thing. It is just like the other WAMPs, Frank. So it just is a complete standalone package. runs on those ports, you run Moodle. I mean, there's other one, I know they have the server one, but the top one's the installation one. Yeah, it is bad. Yeah, actually, with the OSL, there was 7 layers in that, and that one's the compressed 5 version. I think they've missed out. I think there's one called Session and another one or so forth. Oh, absolutely. But it is getting over the fear of installing it the first time, and it hopefully make sense. If you do open up your computer in some of the other bits of guides with the IP address, and that will make sense. Obviously, just be a little bit more careful. You might get some firewall warnings, and sort of accept that, but only do that in a more controlled environment. Oh, absolutely, Frank. Yeah, practice does make perfect. Try the local one version and then take it there, uninstall, so forth. Ah, good question, David. Is it easier to roll back changes when using a virtual machine method? I do run virtual machines. I run on Windows, even though I'm running Windows, I do run Linux on it as well. Perhaps there's less risk. Perhaps you can install Ubuntu on a virtual machine, try it on there. If it all goes completely wrong, you just ditch it. What the heck? As a rolling back changes, maybe at this level you're better off uninstalling. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you can install it, boom, 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 and then do a rollback. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. For a lot of the tools, you will do a Google search that, or rather, any web browser search engine. Anybody's questions I've missed? Oh, another good question, David. The question is, do you use a text editor or an IDE to do your developing? Both is the answer. Actually, for Moodle, I use a text editor called Notepad++, which is free. When I do Java, I use an IDE of an integrated development environment. Just because I think the nature of it. Although I have used a thing called NetBeans, which you can run Java on, also to do help a little bit syntax with PHP, and another one called Eclipse also does it. But with a text editor, it's easy to spot mistakes and stuff, and actually gets you into a habit of being more clear and precise the first time rather than relying on something. Indeed, they do, Tim. Yes, both Clips, NetBeans and Eclipse do work for editing PHP. One thing actually I never got done really quite is the Xdebug to debug the programs and stuff. Thank you, Frank. That's something I'd also like to try out at some point. So there's always something to learn. Oh, okay, don't use that. What suggest I should use? I'd be interested, please.
Um, for debugging, I just use print object. PHP has a function called printar, which just dumps the value of a variable on screen. Moodle has a wrapper for that called print object, which just puts the output of that in nicely wrapped.
Ah, yeah, I'm familiar.
So I just use print object display.
Yeah.
Yeah, old school style debugging, but it seems to work.
Oh no, yeah, I actually. Sorry.
I was just going to say, if you get really stuck, the best answer is to write a unit test to demonstrate what the problem is, because if you break it down, you test little bits of code rather than the whole thing. But,
Yeah, I mean, I'm still Java learning sort of JUnit, but I'm starting to want to learn a bit of BHAT and the unit testing bits. I have been using print object. I also now starting to use var dump, but getting it to output the string into error log and using it that way. Sorry, this is just a way of like debugging and getting information out.
you send it into geek mode.
Sorry, Tim. Yeah, go on, please.
No, that was it, really, I think.
Thank you. You see, there's always there's always something everybody can learn, and that's actually what I find that the beauty of computing and developing and doing stuff and learning Moodle. I do the same thing every single day, every time I do a patch or something like that. Thank you, Joshua. I'll hang around for a bit while there's nobody from the iMoot team bar me to call a halt to this, so please feel free to ask any more questions if you'd like. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Baz. Yeah, see you all later. Thank you, David. Ciao.
You are currently the only person in this conference.